alacrity and the clarity of his moves. His intent was truly coming through the character, and it was really refreshing to see that type of gameplay, especially today, where you see a lot of, I mean, at the high level you see it all the time, but it's a lot of the same old stuff. You see all these Meta Knights, a few Ice Climbers, and then everybody with their character, but there's not too many DDDs left.
Yes, this is true.
It's
almost
an extinct exactly. Yes. It's almost an extinct character. So to see Vex bring out that refreshing type of gameplay in his character, it just really, brings out a special side of me that just really wants me to see more.
And I agree with that, and I also admire his mentality. He's the one always arguing, more lab time, more homework,
very hard work.
Yeah, exactly, and it shows. I mean, I saw the Yumicon videos, and him playing Anther, him playing quite a few different people, and like you said, just how fluid it was. For a day-to-day, it can get choppy and kind of crunchy, and it was not present. This man had everything well planned out, well executed, and did so in a very, very nice-looking fashion.
Yeah, and, a lot of times I'll say to people, well, anybody can play Day-to-Day, because Day-to-Day is a really simple character. He has the grab, he has the back air, and his moves aren't too complex. Forward air covers this space, down air does this. You figure out a couple of moves, you have about 5-6 moves to your moveset, and you can, play the beginning of Day-to-Day.
Yes.
And Vex just shows there's something more, there's something deeper here. And I'm really anticipating watching him bring that out versus Meta Knight. It looks like we might have a quick button check here.
Yeah, this is definitely what it is. As we can see, Vex does not even have his hands on the controller. But yeah, so it should be very interesting. Like I was telling everyone else, we're getting to the holiday season, which means we're getting real close to Apex time. So this is the point where you can get a real idea of what we're going to start seeing from these players and what they're going to be presenting against what all the world's competition has for them. So,
and I mean, unfortunately, I know there's a couple of players. Oh, wow, very nice. There's a couple of players that will not be coming to Apex.
Yes.
But in my opinion, although I regret not having them there, that just gives even more of the new blood to just rise up. Or Vex isn't really new blood, but I mean just more of the people who you wouldn't have naturally put in the top of the bracket. Like Ortori's not coming, so who's going to fill his spot?
You got to stand sitting there, exactly. Who's going to rise up, stand up on there, and show us what the heck they got?
There's only 8 people in top 8.
That's it.
So who's it going to be?
And basically, there's a whole throne sitting right there, seeing who's going to claim their place before they fight with the rest of the top 8. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Absolutely.
Now, what has me a little worried, though, is going to see a run back of Nairo and ADHD running through doubles. Because I'm sure we'll see another.
That never has me worried. I love watching it every single time. You know me, biased as hell.
That's all right.
The match starts off tit for tat.
FD, not a shocking choice for Vex, as this is one of his standpoints in the Meta Knight matchup with Day-to-Day.
Yeah, Day-to-Day has a big problem with getting juggled.
But FD gives him a lot of ground space to work on. As of right now, though, Orion covering that air and all that ground space as we see Vex struggling to get in.
Yeah. Orion is using a lot of very precise pressure, which is the main weakness of DDD. So let's see what type of technology Vex will bring out to counteract this early strategy. It is the first stock, and I expect Vex to be the type of player that can adapt despite the deficit he's racked up by 130% in the first minute of the match.
And still seeming,
No, go ahead.
Still seeming very calm, though. Like you said, amassed quite a deficit here, but still feeling him out, picking it apart, looking to see what he's, learned already, what habits he might find from Orion. But Orion still leaving him with nothing to work with and looking to secure this first stock pretty soon.
Yeah. One of the things about Meta Knight is that each one can be a little bit different because Meta Knight has so many different options that he becomes a very stylistic character. So sometimes it takes a little while to adjust to how a specific Meta Knight plays. In a tournament, you might fight, 5-6 Meta Knights in a bracket, and each one is different from the last. So you feel like you have to relearn the player's habits, relearn the matchup all over again every time. Not everything that works against one player is going to work against the next. So, each time Vex fights a Meta Knight, he's going to have to figure out something different. And right now, Orion is showing a very, very high knowledge of how to answer DDD's options here without taking a lot of punishment and just remaining overall really safe. Still applying a lot of pressure. But then just like that.
Commentator's curse right there.
Like that.
But yeah, definitely demonstrating a lot of that old school New Jersey player. And those matchups down, Day-to-Day was a prominent character back then as Adamus was rising to power. And Orion definitely showing he forgot none of his teachings that Adamus left him with. But as we said, right now though, Vex only sitting on top of about a 50% deficit, so he's definitely brought it back as of right now. And Day-to-Day, with the weight class that he is, definitely has some time to finish figuring this out and potentially take Orion's second stock.
I really like Orion's usage of Mach Tornado here. It's very, very well calculated, very calculated tornadoes.
Yeah, and definitely really showing a weakness of Day-to-Day that is abusable in the Meta Knight matchup. Having a hard time dealing with NATO, especially well-placed tornadoes that Orion's consistently stuck to and punished Vex with pretty consistently. As we get a little example there for everyone at home.
It's only a matter of time before the next Gordo.
Yes, yes it is. The timer ticks down.
The question is, will that Gordo convert into a stock gain?
And man, Gordos really can take a whooping too. You have to throw quite a few different hitboxes at them, or a shield just to get around it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. that could have hit it right. Zap. I love Waddle Do on the stage. It just creates a lot of presence.
Yeah, forcing another entity for the opposing player to really pay attention to, because Day-to-Day can really link together some nasty little percents just by getting a free hit off a Waddle Do.
Now, I have to say, I was expecting an inhale multiple times there. There were several situations where Meta Knight was almost forced to block.
And those command grabs, as we know.
I think Vex wanted a turnaround grab and not a rollback there.
Ooh.
Very nice. Oh my God, that DI.
Whew.
Those not Gordos.
Yeah. Just tossing them out like playing cards, waiting to see when he gets that ace of spades.
This is an even match.
This is a very even match right now.
And Vex is in control at the moment. Now, in the beginning, you saw Orion having a lot of control and applying a lot of pressure. So, will he be able to replicate that? Because Orion was never at high percent. He was never at kill percent against Vex. This is the first time we're seeing Orion at kill percent against Vex. So, will it change the way he plays? There goes the Gordo. It misses, but it is possible to throw yet another. Oh my God, the spacing was so precise there. Very beautiful down tilt by Vex.
And just playing
off, takes the lead.
Well, just playing off what you said earlier, the way that adaptive playstyle, you're really starting to see it now. He'll force Orion to grind down. He really took the momentum there, really controlled the pace, nailed a down tilt that seemed to catch Orion very off guard, and just no sign of any desperation in Vex. You know, you see a lot of players start to fish at high percents, a lot of players start to worry, but just constantly grinding it down and getting in his damage as we see here.
Both players demonstrating some very fluid movement. I love the positioning of those back airs by Vex, remaining very mobile while putting small amounts of pressure and still managing to maintain follow-ups in a defensive posture.
And as always, really controlling space too. That little bubble sitting right in front of his character that's about an F tilt away has really been working out as he's forced Orion out of it and pushed him into different positions as we see right now.
And once again, Vex is still controlling the stage. With that F tilt, we're at 94. Meta Knight will die if he doesn't DI properly to an up tilt. Now he will definitely die regardless. Oh my God, and there it is. Breaks the roll, gets a down smash on the tech. And despite the really powerful showing Orion had at the beginning of the match, remember he was up by a full stock. It was 2 stocks 54% to 3 stocks 54%. And Vex ends the game with a 56% finish. And against Orion. So very, very impressive adaptation. Big shout out to Vex for keeping it cool. Let's see how Orion can now counter adapt to Vex and where he's going to take him, what he's going to do. And if he can bring back that early pressure game that he had on Vex at the beginning, which was neutralizing his options.
And then just ride it through. I mean, it really seemed that he opened up, like we had said, with a real fresh tank of gas, came out real strong, managed to hold down Vex, but that whittling down and that chipping just seemed to make it look like he had almost gassed himself about halfway through. The approaches didn't seem the same. We didn't see those same precision NATOs, and it seemed like Vex was, wandering, getting away from it, but for the most part, it seems like Orion's got to work on that adaptation and really finish out strong there, because Vex completely sucked the life out of him come that last stock.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw Mach Tornado pretty much disappear as a move in Orion's moveset through the second and third stock. So I thought it was we'll see what happens here. But it looks like they're going to Halberd, and it looks like they've got a specific song in mind.
Making sure to turn down the rest of the noise. They want to hear what they're here for. Let's... As long as we get to keep them. Thank you. I appreciate that, Nairo, man. It looks like after this set, unfortunately, I'm going to have to hop off for a moment. I got to get back into the melee bracket.
All right. Very nice.
Got to keep it
going. Shoutouts to Melee.
Yes, definitely.
What a great game.
Love it. All right. Well, as I always like to say, you know, without starting off the match too strong, getting those trips out of the way, working them out of his system, never a bad thing.
Uh-oh. Orion making a technical error. He had a lot of pressure right there, and he threw it away with that up smash. So let's see if he's able to regain it, or if Vex will find his way, you know, into the lead. Not quite. Orion is able to actually regain that pressure, and now he's got Vex in a jungle situation. He gets really greedy with that up.
Watching too many Nairo videos.
A safe mock tornado.
Now this game, he seems to be establishing that really nice in and out pattern. He knows when he's safe. Unfortunately, gets grabbed there, but as we see here, weaving in and out, forcing Vex to approach at certain times and try and predict a mix-up that's a little bit harder for day-to-day.
Oh, very nice.
Went deep on that one. Nice follow-up.
Vex is on the ground. Can Orion break the zone? Vex has been showing himself to have a very large amount of defense. He's playing DD like a fortress.
Yes.
Right? He's moving slightly, okay? And his moves are very quick, very accurate, as SSB's firing cannonballs. And Meta Knight is just trying to figure out a way how to approach, how to get in, how to break through the wall. But right now, he's struggling to just get back onto the stage. There's a quick SD.
That Intimidate right there. That cannon just looking a little too fierce, and Orion, unfortunately, with a button input error, costing him his stock. Vex soaping up his shoes before he got in here today. A couple trips already.
He wanted to probably cancel that down air. He was just not high enough so that the down air finished on the ground. Nice inhale. That mobile command grab, very accurate. I like, did you notice there what Vex did? It was a B reversed up B so he would not crash into the bottom of stadium. Very accurate maneuvering. I like how he saved the jump and up B twice to convince Orion that he didn't have a jump, and then used the jump on the third grab release so that he would ensure that he could get back onto stage. Brilliant mind games by Vex there.
Definitely. The trickiness there, definitely netting him getting back on the stage and not getting gimped. So important in this matchup, as we've seen. Meta Knight can really start to abuse day-to-day's up B once the second jump is gone and repetitive up Bs have begun. Vex keeping his cool, as expected, and getting right back on safely. Orion taking a moment here during the Pokemon Stadium camp off to get a sip of water.
This transformation of Stadium is often one of the reasons why a lot of people will choose Stadium if they want to run out the clock. It just burns a lot of time. You see this 2 or 3 times. It just burns 2 or 3 minutes off the clock, and it makes timeouts very convincing. But I don't think this particular match is going to go to time. Both these players are, you know, very accurate and very solid in their offensive pressure. They don't look like they're trying to camp each other too much.
Yeah, they're going in right now,
yeah.
as we see. Vex taking that cannon and that fortress up into the air and proceeding to start the intimidation of Orion. But Orion looking to corral Vex right now and really get a hold of him as Vex goes running back across the stage.
These punishments by Orion are really solid, but I'm still very surprised by his lack of mock tornado for some of these follow-ups.
Yeah, and we said it ever since the last game, you know? Oh, man, and Orion smacking the table.
As soon as he goes for the tornado.
He knew his percents ever so well, and Vex did too, netting him the kill. But I have to agree, the mock tornado not being present is really, really changing Orion's game for the worse right now. He has not been able to deal with Vex nearly as well, and Vex has been taking full advantage of the lack of it.
That read on that specific tornado was absolutely outrageous. Oh, good escape by Vex. That knowledge was just, the knowledge is so accurate, you know? It's just ridiculous.
Interesting little situation with the Gordo there. And as you said earlier, right back to it, these transformations just creating some time where better off for certain players to take their time and not put themselves in a bad position by running cross stage.
You have to wonder right now, just how comfortable does Vex feel, because he's a little while away from losing this stock. You know, at 95, he's not liable to die to Meta Knight anytime soon.
Yeah, and with the pace he's taking right now, as always, looks like he's cool and collected, wants to get right back towards his ground, willing to take the punish there.
Yeah, you know, that's something I remember Adamus brought to popularity. Just up being very high, just guaranteeing you'll land on stage with the high priority, high pressure hitbox of Meta Knight's up B. And then, you know, you'll take the punish, but you'll get your jumps back and just make it work.
And what the character day-to-day is, it's never a bad option to get your jumps back and get an ability to just gain a much better grip of your aerial momentum is really important sometimes, because that's where we see a majority of the damage get put on against day-to-day is in juggles and in off-stage situations.
Now, I was expecting Vex to do the inhale to land back on stage the first time, but I guess he was afraid that Orion would up B consecutively. So once he saw Orion was not going to fish the up B, he felt a lot more comfortable landing back on the stage. Vex misses the ever-important tech off that windmill, but he does have a 70% lead. He is not far away from securing the game with an up tilt or a down smash. 77, but you know Vex is wishing he got the grab there. It would have been 16 damage instead of just the 7. Now at 82, oh, that trip was very costly. The difference in percent is huge between, 67 and now this 108 accumulated from the first back air and then the positional loss of the second back air. Now Vex will be able to pull him off this edge with this Waddle Doo. It'll get a third shock. Vex is actually standing in front of the Waddle Doo, so it will not move further, and it will only fire 3 times. Waddle Doo only fires 3 times. But had Vex moved out the way, I believe the Waddle Doo would have proceeded to the edge of the stage and proceeded to fire at Meta Knight. And Waddle Doo's Beam Ray is actually the first technology I discovered that was anti-plunking.
That's very interesting to hear. I never dug that deep into it, but as always, sir, educating our viewers and myself. Oh,
and there it is.
As called by Pierce, we waited for the Gordo, and Vex really setting the tone for his own match there. Towards the end, you saw Orion was completely defensive, forced to the edge. We had seen the lack of Mach Tornado, and I had felt at that point there was no other option. Orion was in a lot of trouble. Vex had him locked in to take that win from him. But as I'm being yelled at, I'm holding up Melee Bracket. I'm sure I'll see you soon enough,
Definitely.
sir. It was a pleasure.
Always.
And I'll be back soon enough, guys.
But what I can't see